going first and then going out? No.
Bones for the couch.
It's Couchbone. Couchbone is my favorite childish Cambinos.
Welcome back in.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Let's Play. Dog did not leave.
Yeah, we failed you again. You just lied,
man.
dude.
What do I do here? Wait. Can I use Din's fire to... Well, that seems unhelpful.
Melt the ice. You're just going by Pokemon rules here. I say as if Pokemon didn't get those rules from the real world.
But how do I
melting ice.
do this?
You can't just skate by on a technicality.
I can't just skate by on a reality. Getting your mind jazzed.
Mime just?
Mind jazz. What the flip dip?
Boomerang across it.
Boomerang ain't too bad an idea.
What is that green, like, pole stick thing?
I think it's like a little wall, so I can't sort of go past it that way. Which gets me mighty suspicious. Do I have any other things that I can use? No. I'll figure that out later, I guess. I want...
Have we played anything on Let's Play that's like... Okay, I guess Bob is you. But other than that, have we played a puzzle game there really where you have to think through things? I feel like we mostly do punchy stuff.
Yeah.
Or like management simulator kinds of things.
Wait.
Do we have ideas?
No, I'm out of stamina. I can restore my stamina by fighting. Do these pots have stamina? Give me stamina. No, rupees. I need stamina. I need
Has this
stamina.
ever happened to you? Have you found yourself out of stamina?
God damn it. Punk ass. I'm gonna die.
You gotta get that stam, you can't die.
I gotta get hearts first then. Ooh, coin. Yeah. So I think the thing that I feel this isn't what I feel most uncomplicated about. No, I'm dead.
Is that the thing you feel most uncomplicated?
I do feel complicated about my death, because here I am alive talking to you. But I want more things like this. But the question is, how do we get to more things like this that I get to both know about and serve to both creatively stimulate the folks who would make this and the folks who make, you know, normal Zelda. Because I think of something like Pokemon is an interesting case where
I've never played any of the bootleg Pokemons.
Oh, I'm not even talking about a bootleg Pokemon. Like, I'm talking about like Digimon. I'm talking like Yokai Watch.
You did not just insult Yokai Watch on this.
I said I'm not even talking bootleg. But Yokai Watch is definitely a Pokemon alike.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see the timing of when Yokai Watch came out and can I just like go this way? Or is that just sort of the edge of the map? Yeah, that's the edge of the map. The timing of when Yokai Watch came out and when Pokemon had sort of a renaissance, a reinvigoration. Because it definitely got less popular during like Black and White. I personally felt it was getting like a little bit stale. But then you have stuff like Yokai Watch sort of, to say cornering the market, feels weird and bad, and also that's not what happened. You have actual competition that helps spur sort of a drive to be creative, because previous, what real competition was Pokemon facing.
I feel like we're making jumps here, though. I've never really bought into as like a fundamental rule of creativity that more competition automatically or even usually means more creativity. Like, I was just in the steak sauce aisle at the grocery store, and this is like a mid-level Midwestern grocery store. They're in like one of those fancy like marketplaces with like 4 floors and whatever. And like, I got, and this is gonna sound just weird, but like really depressed for a second in the steak sauce aisle, because there were hypothetically all these choices. Mm-hmm. But like, it was all still steak sauce. Like, there's only so many. There was like 30 kinds of steak sauce here.
Yeah.
I feel like that's one of the baked-in assumptions that we're making that's worth picking apart at least a little bit, is I don't really know where creativity comes from, and I think it's comforting to have sort of rules of thumb that generally X or Y conditions lead to more creative stuff, but like,
I should say, that I'm thinking more in terms of like big companies, right? Instead of like smaller, more independent creators, because that's why you have good stuff in the indie scene. Even when AAA can be, you know, the joke is it's all battle royales or whatever.
Yeah. Well, but I don't even think that with bigger folks. Wait, can you clarify that a little bit? Can you expand on it?
Like,
I just want to make sure I'm getting what you're getting at before
I can give an example.
Yeah.
You have the so-called Disney Dark Ages, and then you have folks like Don Bluth leaving and making, you know, other movies that function in more legitimate competition with what Disney was doing. And suddenly you have a Disney Renaissance. Suddenly you have your Little Mermaids and your Aladdins and your Mulans.
Well, but like, had Don Bluth been elevated to a higher position in the company,
yes,
I think those movies would have ended up happening anyway. I think we overstate like the role of competition in these things. Like, competition becomes important when companies are making bad artistic decisions, but I don't think, in an absence of people with good ideas about a thing, I don't think competition really necessarily spurs that. I mean, Marvel and DC can beat a lot, and generally it seems like they both end up pretty bland.
but I do think that, like, oh no, I'm in a bad loop. I do think that it encourages large companies who would otherwise be risk averse to not be risk averse. To instead do stuff like give the folks who made Crypt of the Necrodancer the license to Zelda. To do things like make Breath of the Wild even. Do things like spend the time and energy to make Mario Odyssey. Because these are games that come out of Nintendo potentially having to stop making hardware because they were in a real bad spot. When stuff like Miitomo, when stuff like Mario Jump, when stuff like Animal Crossing Pocket Camp came out, that was... Oh, whoa, did I clear out this floor? Wild. That was Nintendo trying out a mobile market because their non-mobile market was kind of struggling.
Well, but I don't necessarily see that as, oh, the non-Nintendo folks, your Microsofts and your Sonys, are suddenly making so much better games that we need to compete with them. I saw that more at the time as sort of the well of inspiration that Nintendo just running dry because these properties have been in their hands for so long. Like,
but they still make good stuff, right? Like you still get Mario Odyssey, you still get Breath of the Wild from these same creators.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's something about the competition conversation that doesn't really satisfy me because I feel like what ends up happening is like once somebody does something new and innovative and scary, you end up getting a bunch of studio heads going, okay, more stuff exactly like that. It's not, oh, we need to come up with a thing equally as innovative as this thing is so that we can, stay ahead. It's, oh, because like I just read a really good biography of Dr. Seuss, and there's a whole chunk of it that's devoted to like all the Dr. Seuss clones that came out pretty much as soon as Dr. Seuss started doing a thing. It wasn't, oh, we need to find other children's book authors that are just as innovative as this guy but doing different things. It was, oh, we need to tell all of our mid-range children's book authors.
But then that's not competition, right? That's like the thing with Thomas Edison, where you are trying to imitate the thing that is out there as opposed to sort of having actual like, because if you are instead of I almost said Thomas Jefferson, that's the incorrect one. But going back to the example of like Pokemon, if you're a Pokemon, then you have Pokemon on lockdown, and you get the conversation that is let's make more of the same. But then as soon as you have something that is a sort of serious competitor, something like Yokai Watch, then you are pushed to make different stuff. This is looking at the course of human history. Capitalism has been good at one thing, and it is making technological progress incredibly fast. Not sustainable, but like
we found Octavo.
Oh, dang.
Sorry to. We just had a breaking Octavo update.
Yeah. Oboe.
We're fighting an oboe.
I love oboes. My brother used to play the oboe.
Try not to oboe think this.
Whoa! Whiz Robo! I love it! I'm so down. I'm gonna die so quick. Oh, that was tricky.
You gonna go for all the little minion guys first, or go straight to the big dude?
I need to, here's what I gotta do. I gotta get that fire rod out. Change it for that bottle. Oh, I used the fairy. Never mind, I used the fairy already. Oh, golly. That's so many. That's too many. That's a deadly number. Oh, that beans it up again.
In the same way that a 69 is the sex number, is a death number.
What number most looks like RIP?
Feel like it's you get the 9 because there's a little bit of a curviness there. And then 1, 7 917.
917? Alright. Let's go 917. Oh, I'm getting just... Yes!
Oh, you really 917 that dude.
Oh, I almost fell backwards in this rolly chair. Ooh. Wow. But I'm less worried about individual people.
Hold on, pick up the glowy sword first, because it's gonna go the oven. Pick me up before you open.
I'm less worried about like individual creators coming up with creative stuff. There are people like making cool things. Like people want you have a really good point there when you say that there are these creative voices out there who will make these cool innovative things, and if Don Bluth had been given the opportunity perhaps to make some of his wilder ideas,
because he was actively pitching those to Disney before he left, wasn't he? Like Secret of Nim and stuff.
I think so.
Yeah.
Let me just swing back this way. Nope. Still no good. Still no bueno. Well, that's a mystery for another day.
Who's that giant fish dude? He's a sleepy one. None of these people are talkative.
One of them is. I think this one is the talkative one. The prince belongs to us now. Don't worry, we'll keep him safe. But they look like ghosts.
That was not a You gotta get the sound effects right.
Oh, they're all back. I don't like it. Let me see if I can make my way back to Kakariko Village.
Making your way downtown.
I got shot with an arrow.
Oh yes, that's Skyrim, man. I got shot with an arrow. We're just gonna simplify in 2019. You don't need to know where. You don't need to know how I felt about it. I got shot with an arrow. I live in a base. Vegeta, it's a big number.
But like, I also want to figure out how. Like, I'm okay with a company like Nintendo existing because it takes a lot to make the games that Nintendo makes. So I'm okay with there being like big companies that make big games. Because, you know, you don't get Breath of the Wild unless you have a lot of people working on the same game at once. But how do you then have a company that will, you know, how do you encourage that to not become stagnant in the way that...
So, my immediate pulling it out of my ass rebuttal, and I would need to do a lot more research on this, and maybe if we find some cool shit, we can link to it in the doobly-doo. But, like, Tetris was, like, made under a straight communist society, right?
Yeah.
But also that was one dude doing that.
Yeah.
Do you need sort of regulated capitalism in order to make a game at a huge scale?
I don't think you need regulated capitalism in order to have a big company, right?
Well, I mean, you could do like a massive cooperative, but like, it's so hard to have this kind of conversation when you don't really have an example of, like, we don't want to fall into the trap of just because there's not an example of it doesn't mean it couldn't happen, because that's how history ends up stagnating.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, the other question is like, and this is probably not even where we expected or wanted the episode to go, but like, if changing systems means smaller scale, less surface level impressive games, like, would that be such a bad thing?
So a part of it is games at the scale, if I mentioned Uncharted earlier, games like that are already like pretty unsustainable. Like the value that really it would take to sort of recoup cost from there is like we should be having $80 games instead of $60 games. It's just that no one will buy an $80 game, and that's why we have stuff like microtransactions. That's why we have loot boxes. That's why we have all of this stuff to sort of make up for the fact that a lot of these AAA games that are being made. Oh no, this is very bad.
Did you know that AAA games are named after the sound that you make when you learn about their production schedules?
Crunch is bad, folks.
Didn't we a couple episodes ago say that crunch is good? We're gonna
dog crunch
roll with the crunch
of a bone.
I just think our opinions on crunch are getting very inconsistent.
Well, crunch and crunch are two sort of different, distinct things, right?
So you'd be okay with my dog working?
No, because your dog would be crunch.
To make a game.
Your dog would not be crunch. I've made a bad mistake. I'm going to try to alleviate that. And so, I think labor condition wise, separate from sort of the economy of the, it's not actually separate from the economy, because all of these things are interconnected. But from a separate place, I already think that the size of games needs to be reconsidered. But I still want cool big games. Like, indie folks can make good stuff, but like you can't quite have a 3-person team making Prey. And I think Prey is also sort of potentially a more sort of sustainable look at what AAA might be. It's very dense as opposed to very wide. You look at something like Prey as opposed to something like Assassin's Creed.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh God. Yep. And so I don't know. A piece of question that I have.
What if instead of picking up pieces of art, you picked up pieces of question? It's Discourse, the game. Now, once you've shot them and they've turned over into little turnover wood things, can you shoot them again?
I don't think so. Do I get a present? Give me a present. I didn't get a present. That's not very nice of you.
Stab.
So this will have to be a conversation for the comments and the Discord for our patrons. We're
gonna have some
future
discourse
and future Let's Plays, because
time
is a thing. You say, like, are you gonna have to have a 1,000-person co-op, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are co-ops the only way to sort of make something in a socialist system? Like, is that the only sort of format of job in a socialist system?
That chicken knows the answer and just isn't telling us. That specific chicken in the bottom corner.
Yeah. Because what? Oh God, this is too much.
Yeah, but
I can't punch and talk smart. We're gonna have to end this episode very peacefully in Kakariko Village.
That's not a bad thing.
As I bounce around and the chickens bounce around. Will the chickens bounce around if I don't bounce around? Nope. They go on my beat. So I'm just gonna hop into this fence and talk. Raise questions to which I do not have answers for a brief second.
It's gonna be my entire job. I'm gonna be upfront about that in fairness, but
I thank you for being upfront about that, because one of my biggest frustrations in grade school was teachers not being upfront about that.
I literally say to my 6th graders that I teach in the summers that, like, if I was asking you questions I already know the answer to, I'd be wasting your time. And I don't want to waste your time because your time is great and as limited as mine. So, like,
yeah.
Anyway, headbutt that fence, talk smart.
What do big companies look like? Because I get having co-ops at the level of, you know, a few dozen people, wherein hiring, it helps incentivize hiring to be like a big decision, because then you have someone who is not just not just an employee, not just an underling, but someone who you are, helping give power in a company. And you can go like
vice
full
versa. And vice versa.
Yeah. And you can go full commie with this and say like, everything needs to be sort of state owned. And so there's sort of two levels. There is the worker, and then there's the sort of state operatives who are, democratically elected or selected or however sort of system you want.
They do a shooting gallery. If they can hit 5 targets.
I don't know what the anarchist answer would specifically be, but I feel like sort of co-op isn't too far off your saying of like, everything is all co-op all the way down. But there's a level to which like, okay, I wore out my boots because I was walking too much. There's a level to which you say, okay, it's bad that Don Bluth wasn't sort of believed that his ideas were valuable, but it's also good when he was in charge to enact those. And I'm sure that the system under which his work was done could have been more equitable or something, but it's good to have like unified visions, especially in creative fields. It's good to have someone that you can go to and say, first of all, what do I need to do, or have someone who can say like make a final decision. I think I'm slightly more a fan of bureaucracies than most people are.
Probably in this room. Yeah.
Yeah. I think
this
is a thing where this is more in idea than in especially current function, where the idea of what bureaucracies are supposed to do and what they do when they first sort of came about, what they do, which is sort of manage large things. And I think this is why you have, large companies have, your stratification to the level of like intern and, sub-assistant manager, or, all of the crazy.
But like a Subway has to have that.
What?
A Subway has to have that. Who's gonna
But like, this is the thing where like, I think the degree to which it is and where it is currently and has been used is bad, but I don't think that where it comes from necessarily has to be a bad thing.
Yeah, but
go ahead.
Are you sure? You good?
Sure.
I feel like though that the risk of this is that we fall into the same sort of debate that's happening around. This is going to be a weird tangent, but I'm going to bring it back. Fake meat right now. We have this huge problem of, meat consumption is bad enough that it's like destroying the climate and destabilizing a bunch of populations and etc. And so then instead of the solution being, change diets, etc., it becomes, how do we do the thing we were already doing but mildly less bad? Whereas like, I feel like human beings naturally sort of tend to make structures that at least look like the structures they're already used to. And I don't think this is a bad thing. I think it's like a cornerstone of how we think, that we take something that we're used to and we try to improve upon it. But like, I don't know how do we make something that functions like a large game studio who maybe can't do a Red Dead 2 but could do a Prey. I don't know if there's stuff we're missing because we're trying to do same bad thing but less bad versus entirely different thing. Like even the idea of having somebody to say yes or no to a creative decision, like that's how most production of stuff works. But then I think of like a Zay Frank or a Clay Shirky where they like gave a prompt and then everybody kind of spun out on that, and there was no like, okay, this is good, this is bad, we're doing this. Things just kind of what's the opposite of deterministically? Things just sort of
radiate. They radiate it out.
Like emergent stuff. Things just sort of emerged out of the parameters given. And I don't know. I think it's, would we be okay? Not necessarily we us two, but we generally with more emergent, sort of lower quality. I don't want to say lower quality, but
smaller scope.
Smaller scope games. Instead of having like 3 praise a year, like even if we can devise some sort of either a co-op system or just sort of a lighter and softer, more regulated AAA system, is that sort of the wrong way to go about it? And I don't know how to answer any of that, but I worry about the fake news. Both as a metaphor and in actuality.
I have more things I could say, but time. I really ought to get going.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we're able to do this. And join our Discord. Talk about co-ops. Do it, cowards.
Do it. You know, most chickens are in co-ops and they like it.
They hate it. Patreon.com/play.
Let's play.
Shh. It's currently fading to black. The recording is we're going away. And goodbye.
Everyone needs to personally say goodbye to my dog. I'll know if you didn't.
Goodbye. No puppy? Yeah.
You're sleepy. Oh no, you're not sleepy. Oh, you're stretching.
So if you just have a wall of ketchup, then it'll act mostly solid until you touch it.
Did you build a house out of it? The floor was solid. And you added enough ketchup.
No, because you know when you squirt ketchup, then it slowly turns into just like a mound.
What if you just did so much so that you could have whole months and months?
Pyramid. A ketchup pyramid.